Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty. Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That is 13:44 in India.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty.
Malaysia tomorrow in the evening. I'm in Malaysia now. The timing here is 1:42. That inspires.
Good morning, everyone.
Teaches us in order to get to know, in order to understand what is my role being a teacher, being an aspirant person, how can we take it forward? So this is a greater opportunity for all of us to think about. You talk about Policy Bazaar, you talk about Zomato, you talk about Swiggy, you talk about Lenskart. So these companies especially trying towards building something because they themselves also encouraging students as come up as a startup ventures. See, what is this? Because we study Amazon, we study do projects in Amazon, we study Flipkart, you study Policy Bazaar, we do some kind of a project, but ultimately these projects should make us to understand, come up with a startup entrepreneurial quality in you. Because the finance part I'll cover later. How can we get to finance from the what you call it as a finance domain? But today, as a personality of these top institutions, how can you build this? We can talk about Swiggy, how they have started. All of them are the Uber concepts. You know, it is well aware that all these are the Uber concepts because we talk about Lenskart, we talk about Swiggy, we talk about Zomato. You might have heard about Byju's as well. Byju's was started by a teacher, a person who was into teaching. That inspired him to get into a company called Byju's. Though it has got some problem today, but when it was started, the model, it was, during COVID time and all, they made a lot of profit out of it. So Byju's के बाद सबको पता होगा, Byju's is the world's most valuable education hub. It's a technology driven. They themselves started a technology. After rising $1 billion in 2021, Byju's market, the valuation stands for $1.15 billions. That means they have touched that, a kind of what you call unicorn status. So that is what is actually everywhere it is reflected. And please remember, my dear friends, the Byju's Ravindran is the founder of the what you call it as the edutech startup that is actually Byju's, a son of the physics and the mathematics professor, is a teacher from a place called Azikode, that is actually village in Kerala. Please remember Kannur districts of Kerala. So he started. Why can't we? That gets motivated. See, my journey as a teacher, I returned. I was living in Malaysia for 5 years. In 2018, I returned to India, and I thought, okay, let me start a company in the campus. So that is the reason I started a company in the campus. The name of the company, two companies. One is connected to a trust kind of a deal. The other one is Capital Advisors LLP. We are into demat accounts, framing the demat account, collecting, lot of giving lot of training programs as a CSR model. That is what we started, we started building in the minds of students, especially because as a teacher, I can start it. I think you guys also can get into that, starting a new venture. Because I'll tell you, my dear friends, see, this is it won't take a lot of your effort. I'll tell you, it is a simple process. Why people like, especially in the domain of to students domain, why you guys have to get into this? What it will make? Because you guys, when you start a venture like this, what will happen is it will really make you, get into lot of other revenues, because you guys can really get to know, and you guys can really attribute, because this will give you a clarity how we must get into a startup ventures. So that is why universities plans, it's a key role is actually to grow up in the entrepreneurial ability today, because that's what was started in Netherlands earlier, connected to the academic startup. A competition is actually, it is connected to initiative of all what you call universities in the Netherlands. That is actually, it is in Amsterdam. You all are well aware it is in Europe. That is why the startup steps, I'll tell you simple steps to start up, because you yourself, that the which model we have started, the model which you have started in the campus, it is connected to the model which is developed for the benefit of the students, especially we are into finance, HR, and marketing. Because what are the things required for us, especially to start that? We need to have, you have to have a, first of all, a market, a survey you have to get into, a kind of a small survey. So you do your market research. That conducting the market research is actually the first step in order to determine you have an idea worth pursuing. And then you have to remember that to secure the intellectual property, you decide on what you call it as a branding part of it. On the sales side, you have to see what kind of an incorporation you have to form, whether it is LLP, partnership, and other things. And then you need to know, you have to choose a leader to lead, how you have to take a right decision, and you have to have a right business plan, and you have to pick a workplace and find a mentor, because that is also important. But these documents are required. What are the documents required? It's a PAN card, Aadhaar card, TAN, GST, all these documents required. The challenges are many. So you are very fearful getting into competition. There are also the unrealistic expectations, that is actually success does not come alone. You know that. That is why, please remember, my dear friends, you guys have to get into the partnership decision making. And then there is a financial management, the cyber security. Also, you have to know winning trust of the customers. And then there are opportunities available. What opportunities available for you? The employment opportunities available, internship opportunities available. There is a paper publication, CSR activity can be done. And in the campus itself, whenever you talk about these avenues, my dear friends, you can easily understand that how potentially you can use that. So you can be HR area, training area, other areas, you can get to know how potentially we can use as a startup venture. And opportunities available everywhere. There are a lot of opportunities available. You can get into the startup Karnataka, startup Hyderabad, startup Madhya Pradesh, startup any part of the world, Uttarakhand, because there are a lot of states coming up with these avenues. And ultimately, there is also a focus on research, which is mandatory. Please remember that the academics expect the research with the rigor. So this means is a scientific, that is what is very much required for all of you. That is why practitioners, they expect research with the relevance. So this actually means as this give a new idea in saving what you call in solving the problem, because people have lot of problems, and how are they going to do that? And some of the most common mistakes that first time entrepreneurs they make. What mistakes they do? What mistakes they make? See, we say market is highly risk oriented. The risk is involved in the market, but being what you call it as academicians, being into education system, how are we going to come out of that? So that is very important aspect. Ignoring the market risk actually when starting a business, because you're not supposed to ignore. There is a systematic risk. There is also a frame of unsystematic risk, but you are not supposed to ignore that. You must know that what is taking the wrong advice, because you should know when to take the right decision, when to take the right angle, what way you have to take the right decision. So that also you must know when to take you're not taking the wrong advice. On the other side, you're ignoring the constructive feedback. People are there in the organization, but you must know how to take the constructive feedback. That is also mandatory. The constructive feedback comes from the people who are working with you. Especially when you're starting an venture, you must know that how to take a proper feedback. And then generally what happened? You are going very fast. That means you don't know where to stop, when to consult, whom to consult, what are the avenues to consult the people around. So this is also a mandatory thing which you need to understand when you're talking about that. That is why, see, people, there is a no team spirit. People are not working in a team spirit. Your leader is explaining, somebody is explaining, but you don't know how to look into that's team spirit. That also matters. So that's why you yourself overestimating the challenge of seed funding. Seed funds are available these days. People can get into seed funds. आप सबको पता है seed funds भी मिलते हैं हम लोगों को. हमारा स्टेट पे seed fund भी मिलते हैं. So north, south, west, east, wherever you go, you will get a seed fund. Another side, underestimating the challenge of raising the what you call it as a seeds. I'm going to talk about the fund things now in a next slide. So please remember that people are getting into mental fatigue. So these are the very important things which we need to know when we talk about the entrepreneurial quality. But I'm going to talk to you about an important aspect. How are we going to raise the finance? What are the contributions? I'm just going to show the other slide. Please remember, my dear friends, see, now when we talk about these aspects, you may be knowing very well, you are very well aware. See, people are into, when we talk about from the Indian context, we see richest people in the world. Who are the richest people in the world in Indian scenario today? When we talk about it, only few we can see. That too, the people who are, especially in this map, we can see only Mukesh Ambani. Nobody else apart from Mukesh Ambani. There is nobody from Indian context. So we don't know how to focus in these areas, because we ourselves lagging these skills in ourselves, because we don't know what is going to happen when people have to get into these avenues, and when they have to take care of all the major events when it comes to managing their funds. Because managing the fund, that matters a lot, my dear friends. Today, if you don't manage your funds properly, what will happen is you will be in trouble. So you need to know that how you are going to manage the fund. What is the avenue to manage the fund? That's why when we talk about, because we have to get into the share market today, because when we talk about the share market, what happens? Because funds can be raised to the share market today. There is when we talk about the share market, there are 64 shares are there in the 64 squares are there in a chessboard. We can compare our chessboard to the share market. Please remember that if each square is worth rupee 1, what will happen? The value of the company is rupee 64. So tell me how much money you need to spend when we talk about these avenues, what context. See, that's why Warren Buffett always says Don't save what is left after spending. Instead, you spend what is left after saving. My dear friends, you should focus on the saving than the spending because saving matters a lot. When you focus on the saving, everything will go good. Otherwise, what will happen? You'll be in trouble in handling that. So that is why focus should be on the saving and the spending. So that's why in this case, when you talk about, you feel that the oil industry, the industry that profits will grow. So you want to benefit from that. You are of two options. One is actually setting up of a oil refinery business and buying a shares in the oil refinery company, because your task is to raise funds for your business. When you want to raise funds, there are two options, because you can either go for a debt or for an equity, because you need to raise something. But in that case, there are two options available. One is actually through the direct, through the capital market, and other one is through actually the mutual fund. Please remember, primary market is available, secondary market is available. You can also get into the lump sum investment, and also there is a systematic investment plan, or systematic, what you call it as a that plan which is actually connected to that. And there are two terms which you need to understand. One is through the primary market, and other is through the secondary market. When we talk about the primary market, the securities are issued first time to the public. You are well aware that when the securities are issued first time to the public, it is called as a primary market. In the secondary market side, what is there for you is a trading of already issued and listed securities. And please remember that primary market is also called as new issue market, and there is a post issue market. In the primary market, the determination is actually issue company in consultation with the merchant banker. On the other side, supply and demand forces of the market. And we please remember that the key intermediaries connected to them is actually the merchant bankers and also the RTAs. On the other side, stockbrokers and the DPs, depository participants, also part of it. And then when you talk about this chart, you are able to understand that this chart gives you, since you are studying a BCom, BBA, MBA and all that, this chart tells you that there are also the issues connected to the public issues, rights issues, bonus issues, and also there is a private placement. What does it say? There is IPO, initial public offer. आप सबको पता होगा initial public offer का मतलब क्या है? पहले when the company is issuing the share for the first time, it's in the process of initial public offer. Follow public offer also there. If that doesn't fulfill the what we call it as a requirement, it will go to the follow public offer. And then there is rights issue, bonus issue, and then there is a private placement. And there's one question which is in front of you is, who regulates the market? Please remember, my dear friends, the people who are regulating the market, the SEBI, AMFI, then there is a BSE, and then there is also an NSE. SEBI is Securities Exchange Board of India, AMFI is Association of Mutual Fund of India, and BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. On that side, if you talk about, please remember that this is an avenue on which works towards, because this talks about what we call it as the people, whenever they wanted to go for an investment, they have to see that the management should be good, the growing profit should be there should be a healthy balance sheet. On the other side, we are not supposed to encourage the bad management, the shrinking profits, the no, what you call it as a not so healthy balance sheets. Because see, that is negative part of it. The red color, whatever is there, we need to see to that. Okay, we are not following about it. So that is why you being students from the prestigious institutions, you must know how much area, what is the category, what is that which is actually contributing towards the benefit of all of you, because what extent which is helping you towards the benefit of people around. So that is why you people remember that this is the condition on which whenever you want to get into any kind of an investment, you have to get a suggestion from the stockbroker, you have to get a suggestion from the mutual fund distributor, and also the registered investment advisor, because these are the people who are directly and indirectly connected to the market. Even you are well aware that there is one thing you have to remember, that these are the initiatives which is actually generally played by the people around. Especially you have to know that nowadays everywhere there is a system called as a eKYC. There is also a system called as a power of attorney. Because this is actually all are playing a huge huge resources which is actually connected to that. So that is why, my dear friends, you need to understand which is connected to all over the world, because there is also some people, you may be knowing, misusing some of the information, especially you get some kind of a link to your mobile, and you need to know how to come out of it, because see, this unsolicited information, you have to be very careful. So how to place order when you wanted to get into the market, financials. See, you are an entrepreneur and you want to raise some fund. What is that? How are you going to raise a fund? You can visit the broking house. You can go to the trade phone. You can connect it to the email. You can also get into the stock broking websites and buy what we call broking mobile things and all that. And there is also, I don't know how many of you get into the buying and selling process. When you want to get into the buying and selling process, please remember that what is contract note. In this case, you have to see to that is a record of any transaction. It is a confirmation of the trade. It is a confirmation of there is a trade done. And in case of the discrepancy, contact your the broker immediately. In case of any discrepancy, you can always contact your broker immediately. And what does a contract note contains? What does it contains? It contains the details of the transaction, also the date, time, the price, the quantity. There is a trade ID. There's also a various what you call it, the charges which is levied on them. And please remember that within 24 hours from the date of the trade execution, what is happening around. So there is a e-contact note, they send to the registered email ID, and can opt for the physical certificates as well. My dear friends, now to get into an entrepreneur listing, you need to have some fund. But how are you going to create that fund? So you can open a demat account. The demat account is actually, there is a conversion of rematerialization to the dematerialization. That means the physical conversion to the electronic form. And then there's also a rematerialization, which is actually the reverse, that is a demat, which is actually converting the electronic into the physical certificate. And the transfer of securities, the change of beneficial ownership, all that which is connected to it. And then you have to remember that the transfer of securities balance in demand account due to what we call it as the debt. And also there is it's not a voluntary act of the account. And then this transfers that will be brought about to the operation of law and the transmission, which is actually the process. And you have to remember that what is a pledge, by the way? Pledge means what? And whenever you want to buy any share, you need to pledge something, which is actually the pledge is actually the owner. It is actually the securities we have to pledge. On the other hand, please remember that this pledge which is connected to borrow something, you have to give some kind of a collateral, which is a collateral pledge. That also you need to know, because it's a facility which is actually connected to, if it is more than rupees 50,000, it is nil. If it is between 50,000 to 200,000, it is actually again 100 per share. If it is 200,000, more than 200, charges as per applicable the regular what you call it, the BSDA. This is what you guys have to see and understand, that what categorization, how is it actually happening, what way it is happening, and how it is helping the people around the world in order to make it, careful. So on the other side, you all are aware that the mutual fund, which is available everywhere, because being an entrepreneur, to raise a fund, you can even get into mutual funds, because it's a simple process of opening a demat, mutual fund through the demat. So mutual funds are everywhere now. Students like you पीपल, आप सबको पता होगा, अभी म्यूचुअल फंड से छात्र लोग बहुत से बहुत इन्वेस्ट करते हैं म्यूचुअल फंड में. सो म्यूचुअल फंड का क्या बेनिफिट होता है कि वहां पे आपको इनडायरेक्ट फॉर्म से आप इंडायरेक्ट इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि आप यू आर जस्ट पार्किंग योर मनी एंड शेयरिंग योर मनी, आई मीन ट्रांसफरिंग योर fund to the fund manager, and fund manager will take a decision on how to process it further, because he is the one who is taking a decision on parking and transferring the amount to some avenue. So on that he can able to understand. So that is why BSC Star Mutual Fund. So we say BSC Star Mutual Fund is available everywhere. This Star Mutual Fund, which will allow you guys to get into the mutual fund avenue and take steps in order to make yourself get some benefit out of it, because this is condition on which works towards the benefit of the people around the world, because that's why people just you can take a decision on building the mutual fund products, at the same time will help you in order to take the on fund, because you say it's a Sarathi, we call it as a SEBI's mobile app, also available everywhere. Let us see what are the recent developments in the market. What developments we need to consider when we talk about a condition in the market. That's why please remember that you need to remember you are always a considerable person. There is one more thing you need to remember, that there is a great opportunity. There is a great opportunity which is actually connected to a mutual fund. That is why this is an avenue on which people must consider and understand that the recent development in the market. So these recent development in the market, which is actually playing a huge role today, because in all the avenues which is actually taking a lot of steps, because that's why recent when we talk about recent development, these recent developments, if the derivative come into picture and commodities come into picture, forex is coming to picture. Many of us, we are investing in cryptocurrencies. You all well aware that people are into cryptocurrencies, cryptos, and all that stuff. So people, they must understand what is the repercussion of investing in all these avenues. Whether these avenues will give you lot of opportunities in order to make yourself comfortable. So that is why you need to know that there are forex, there are cryptos, there are commodities, there are other avenues which is available. I hope being in the commerce background domain, all of you need to be knowing that what is the power of building all that, why it is so eminent and efficient, why people have to get into all this. So that is why all of you understand that you need to know how efficiently you can manage the fund today. Because what is the efficiency of managing the fund? That is why, my dear friends, you people, all of you, there is an opportunity which you have to use today. Because being students, all of you in a right, because you people have to use that opportunity. Because when you're using that opportunity, what will happen is you can definitely come up in entrepreneurial. So that is why that entrepreneurial skill you need to develop in the right decision, with using the right decision in the right manner. You all have to get into that. That's why this derivative is a financial, because in this example you can easily understand in the futures market. You can understand this example. We arrive at some figure, and when you buy something, when you sell something, what is the figure which will generate over a period of time. So why this is so important? Why people, they needed to get into these avenues, so in order to get into that parameter. So that's why all of you need to understand that you buy long. The long is actually 10, short is 12. The difference is 2, which is actually what, because long is buying for 10, short is 12. That means you're selling. That means there's a difference of 2, which is connected to that. So that's why you need to know, you need to understand that what is the value behind this. Because why people are always talking about these avenues, whether these avenues are making them clear understanding of what is the purpose of building all that. So whether these avenues are adding value to them, and what is the extent, why everybody must know, and everybody must keep a complete picture on why buying and selling. The difference should be always, people expect this is our differences, and we must see to that this difference must give us the value in what categorization, and why they how to get in. Because whatever we buy today, and that buying and selling must give some difference for us. So that difference people should feel, and people must know that what is that which gives them. That's why there are some understandings, because nowadays people want to get into entrepreneurship. They directly invest in the derivatives, they directly invest in the commodities, they directly invest in the forex market, because these markets give them a kind of an avenue to think to an extent that will give a lot of opportunity for them. So that's why being an entrepreneur, you must take care of yourself, and that's why you have to look into option, you have to look into futures, look into commodity, you have to look into small mutual funds and other revenues, so which will definitely help you all to think about and know that what is the extent, why it is so important, what is that which is giving you a kind of understanding, and what it makes you guys to think about why it is so eminent for you to understand and think. Okay, so that is why you people, as I told you, being in the prestigious institutions, you must know that what is option, what is future, what is derivative, what is a contract all about, and what extent you have to build that contract, and why, what time we have to get into these contracts, and what is the avenue to build these contracts, and why, how we can get to know these contracts, and why, when to close, when to open. That's why please remember that in the money, at the money, out of the money, I think these are the very important aspects that I think, I hope you must be well aware, and you are very much clear about these things. Other side, there is a equity derivative which is also available. The concept for the significant, significant reduction in the margin, the money, and on the other side, these significance you need to see. The codes are available, the patterns are available, and these patterns, these codes, everything that is actually adding value towards the benefit. So that is why there must be something, there must be a kind of an avenue which is available all over the world today, and people like you must make a utilization of these avenues. If you make utilization of these avenues, so what will happen is definitely whichever the entrepreneurial quality, whichever the things you want to go ahead, you can understand, because these are the simple examples. Because being in entrepreneurial domain, how are you going to utilize this, especially connected to the what you call it as an outlook, especially connected to the strategy and connected to the risk. On the other side, there is also a reward, there is also a break even is no profit and no loss, and how are you going to maintain all these, in what extent it will help you to maintain all these, whether this will definitely contribute to you all to think about, and if at all it contributes, how are we going to develop that, because how are we going to get something out of it, so that also you need to look for, and you need to what you call it as extract that information in the right manner or right direction. That will definitely add value to you all. So that is why you have to remember that there are some positions which you have to see. You have to see that what is this, which is actually connected to index option, the position which is related to that, and then the position limits, how are we going to categorize that, and what category and what extent you people can get into these avenues, and why you all have to look into these, and how there is also a great opportunity for, and the opportunities available for all of us. So that is why please remember, my dear friends, you all many of you want to get into the entrepreneurial skill, and how are you going to bridge that gap, because the financials is the main gap which you have to build, and that gap can be bridged only through the support of the people, and that too the financial support which is actually given by the banks, non-banking financial corporations, even the shares and other things. So these are all the very important things which you need to know and understand. And with this, I'm closing this presentation. If there is any kind of a discussion or any kind of a questions you have, you can always ask me the what you call it as, if there is any question, you can proceed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Shetty sir. It was really an insightful address by you for the students and scholars of Nirwan University Jaipur. And once again, sir, I thank for sparing your valuable time for our students. And if there are any question, students, you can raise your hands in the Zoom. I will unmute you if you can, if you want to ask Dr. Shetty something about the Shetty sir has told about the call option, put option, and the stock market. If you have any query, you can ask to sir. So thank you so much. And now I would like to invite Dr. Ruchi Garg, Assistant Professor of School of Commerce and Management, to give formal vote of thanks on behalf of Nirwan University Jaipur. Dr. Ruchi.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Most Honorable Nirwan Management, Honorable President Professor Dr. Arvind Kumar Agrawal, Honorable Vice Chairman and CEO Dr. R.K. Arora, Eminent Registrar, Deputy Registrar and Joint Registrar, efficient authorities of the organization, highly efficient faculty staff, and dearer of dear students. I, Dr. Ruchi Garg, feel honored to get the opportunity of presenting vote of thanks on the great moment of witnessing formal closing of this highly informative webinar on the topic Quality Enhancement, Unleashing the Entrepreneurial Potential for Personal Finance. In the same cue, I, from the deepest core of my heart, wish to express my inner core gratefulness to the center of all attraction for the day, our chief guest, Dr. Sharan Kumar Shetty, sir, for his highly informative and prolific lecture. Sir, truly saying, each and every word of yours has remained highly researched and source of innovative knowledge. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your precious time, and especially thanks to Professor and Dean, School of Commerce and Management, Dr. R.K. Modi. This webinar would not possible without your efforts. I once again thanks to one and all for their varied participation to make the webinar a grand success. I, on behalf of the School of Commerce and Management, assure to all presented for getting organizing the same sort of academic ventures in the months and years to come. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruchi. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharan Shetty, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time for our students.
Yes,
and
thank
we will
you.
surely invite you in our next program also.
Okay,
And
thank you.
And we will share a feedback link to all the participants for the e-certificates. So please fill it and submit it mandatory. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Recording stopped.